Hey guys, so I got a video suggestion on the RuneScape tutorial that I thought was great. And this commenter said, why don't you just make a video talking about your experience with Linux over the years, your Linux journey? And now I've been using Linux for going on 12 years now, so if I was to make that all one video, it would be kind of long and it would probably be pretty boring. So I thought today, let's just talk about how I came to use Linux in the first place. Now, the story about how I originally came to use Linux or even found out what it was is kind of funny. Around 2012 or so, I got my first PC. It was just this awful Dell laptop. And I was just a kid, uh, so young I didn't have a job yet, but I had saved up birthday money and Christmas money for like a year, and I really, really wanted my own computer, mainly so that I could play Minecraft. So I buy the thing on eBay, and it's quite a few years old, and it's from the Vista era, and it's one of those laptops where the manufacturer installed Vista on it, but really it would have been more suited. Like the hardware would have been more suited to XP, so it was very, very slow. And after I started using it regularly, it just got slower and slower. You know how it is. You're 10 years old, you want to install a Minecraft mod, you probably install a couple viruses along the way. So that's beside the point. Someday I'm searching, I'm looking through forums, looking for a magic bullet for something that's going to speed my PC up. And way down at the bottom of a forum, I see this guy and he says, well, why don't you just install Linux? It'll speed your PC up. So initially, I'm thinking Linux is like a an app for Windows, like sort of like something like CC Cleaner. That I was familiar with that at the time, and so I'm doing this searching on Linux, and at the time Ubuntu was a real hot distro, and so I end up on their page, and at the time 13.10 was the most recent release, so I download it and I mount the ISO file and I'm trying to find an exe to run. So I do a little more Googling and I find out that Linux is something that you install on your PC and you use instead of Windows. And so well, what do I have to lose? This guy said it's fast. I may as well give it a try. So I spend a few weeks trying to figure out how to create a bootable CD. So I'm burning it onto a CD and I finally get it to boot and I install it. And after a little bit, I kind of decide I don't like it. I mean, yeah, it was faster and it looked cool, and those are things that are important to a 10-year-old, but something that was even more important to me at the time is I couldn't figure out how to play any of my games. So I decide that I want to switch back to Windows. But I didn't realize that installing Linux would wipe out my Windows install. And so I'm trying to figure out how to boot back into Windows, and finally I realize it's gone. And I'm a kid, I can't afford a Windows license, and back in the day you couldn't just install it with and promise pinky promise that oh, I'll put in a valid license later. You needed one for install at this time. And needless to say, I was pretty upset. But once that faded, I started to learn how to use Linux. I didn't have any other choice, and I've really come to love it over the years. I mean, hey, I'm making Linux tutorials on the internet. I must love it. Looking back, I actually probably got pretty lucky. Support for Wi-Fi chips at the time, like it was not what it is today, and I very easily could have ended up in a situation where I just didn't have any internet access at all. But in the end, it all worked out. And that pretty much wraps up the story of how I first installed Linux. Um, let me know if you guys like these more personal videos about like my experiences with Linux over the years, if this is something you'd like to see more of, or if I should just get back into tutorial minds and keep pumping out those. But yeah, like, subscribe, leave a comment about any video topic you'd like to see, whether it's something you'd want me to sort of reminisce on, like in this video, or if it's a tutorial that you want to see made. The channel's pretty small. I read all the comments. If you leave a comment asking for help, there's a good chance I will make a tutorial video on it. But yeah, thanks for watching.